Still the Daybreak Show on Rock City 101.9 FM. The city is Abeokuta, yes, and indeed, this is the voice of the people. Citizens Forum this morning. Actually, I should have introduced this topic with either the Ogun language or the Onanuga language. But Chienye, the other side, she will speak it and then there will be confusion. Just like every Edna Ogoli has said, every kilometer, it's not just in Nigeria, it's a different tone. Yes, with that, we welcome you again to the topic this morning on Citizens Forum. We are looking at the plan of the federal government to have, at least for now, science subjects taught in your mother language. Yes, science subjects taught in your mother language. Of course, science, unlike the other social science topics, are very key, very relevant to technological development. Well, all type of science, biology, physics, chemistry, whatever it is, the federal government is planning right from primary school actually. That you begin to teach these students, and really, socially, if you look at the way these kids grab the lyrics of songs, the most difficult one, the raps, and then they are able to pick everything the singer is saying. And then one will tend to want to agree and say, okay, maybe if you come down to that level, they'll be able to grasp the content of the subject in discourse. Should that not be looked into?
Well, when I went to school, there's something they refer to as a playway method. This is entertainment. If it's music, they can grab every lyrics. But imagine teaching mathematics in Yoruba or in Igbo. Don't you think it will become dull? They won't be able to grab all
right, don't
things
let us
needed.
give our conclusion. We
No,
have
we shouldn't.
experts, those who are formulating the education policy for you, will have, I want to believe, also look at those pros and cons. And that's why this morning we have somebody very capable to flow with us in the discourse. Dele Ayodo is my name.
And I am Chienye Egwuonwu. Welcome to Citizens Forum. Yeah.
All right, yes, that's the topic we are looking at, teaching of science subjects in mother language in Nigeria. How effective will it be? What will be the methodology? What do we intend to achieve, either the short term, medium term, or long term period of this program? And some people have also said this is another policy somersault. Don't worry, we have with us a science teacher. He's a science educationist. He's actually the state chairman of the Ogun State, the National Association of Science Teachers Association, Ogun State branch. He is the state chairman. I'm talking of Mr. Peter Abayomi Onanuga. Good morning.
Okay, Dele, and also of importance, what language will be adopted?
Well, okay, he will. That's his field. I'm sure he has an ample experience to share that with us. Mr. Onanuga, you're welcome to the Daybreak Show.
Thank you. Good morning, listeners at home and the general public.
First, let me start by finding out from you. Have you people, those who are going to practicalize this, been formally informed by this new policy?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me start by giving us some background information. That the policy is not entirely a new one.
I see.
Based on these two major facts, late Professor Baz Fafunwa, who was at a time a Minister of Education in this country, started a project a long time ago at the Obafemi Awolowo University. It was University of Ife then. He started this project of using the mother tongue to teach all subjects, particularly those ones that we felt were difficult in grasping. Mathematics, science, and all of that. So science was also part of that project. And the project went on, but got terminated abruptly at a particular stage. That is on one side.
Okay.
On the other side, in fact, the national policy on education that we have in operation as we speak, and that is the 8th edition that was published in 2013. There's a section there, section 2, item 20D. it also gives strength to using the mother tongue as medium of instruction, particularly in the lower primary school level of our educational system. That is basic 1 to 3. Primary is 1, 2 to 3. In fact, that is what the provision of that document as our national policy on education. So children at that level should even be taught at with the medium of instruction, particularly in the monolingual communities.
This is sounding interesting, Mr. Onanuga. First, let's pick it up from Professor Babs, the late Professor Babs' 5 hours position or experiment, I want to call it. It was experimented. What did he achieve at that time?
Yeah, let me say unequivocally that it gave us a great success. We recorded great success from that experiment and project. But the problem was that it was only left to domesticate or replicate in other communities, particularly other tribes, ethnic groups in the country. But perhaps the government then, in operation, did not have the political will. So we just discovered that midway the project died off.
Why did it die?
People. I believe that people in holding political offices should be able to explain better.
Okay, but what class?
The way some of us saw it was that perhaps the government of the day there didn't have the political will.
What class of students did he research with?
Yeah,
that's another thing. Because level of understanding matters a lot.
Yes. Specifically, then it was primary school science. In fact, science was spelled as Yoruba science. Science. So they concentrated so much on mathematics and science then at the primary school level. And the project, the experiment went so viral, particularly in the old Oyo State and.
But if it was a successful project as you have painted it, those of you who are teaching it, I felt it should have been a comfortable work tool for you to use and therefore defend the sustainability.
Yes,
the teachers now.
Yeah, you got it right. But until the government that is in power entrenches such a policy, if it's not documented, no teacher will implement. There must be a policy to be implemented. If a policy exists,
what was not documented? The policy,
the use of that mother tongue to teach science
was not documented.
It was not documented. And teachers, being the implementers of the policies that the government comes up with, cannot go outside what the document that guides all of us in terms of discharging our responsibilities as teachers.
As an association, professionals, science teachers association, were you involved? Did they call you to be a part of this discussion at the midwifery stage?
Let me say that I cannot say boldly what really transpired between the initiator, Prof of blessed memory, and the hierarchy of our association, leadership of the association as at that point in time. I wouldn't know what the kind of understanding or arrangement they had. But I, as a student in the university then, I was, we were enthusiastic. It was something that we saw novel. And if we also look at it, for anyone to do well in any area, for you to even speak a language that is not of your mother tongue, you must internalize first before you can even translate whatever the kind of communication you want to make. So that was why many of us we agreed and keyed into this project that let's see how best we can use mother tongue.
Okay, with those experience of the past and the current attempt, as a science teacher, are you enthusiastic about this?
Yes, I am. Let me say that I am, because if we have been using a kind of a mode for a very long time and it has not given us the desired result, there is nothing bad in making a try to see if there is a way we can do a paradigm shift from what used to be to a new order to be able to achieve the end result.
Okay, there is no gainsaying. It is a laudable move. It is a laudable idea. But let's look at it this way. How do you intend to implement this policy when we have Nigeria as a multi-ethnic country?
Thank you.
How realistic
I
is
think,
its implementation?
yeah, I think that exactly is where the problem lies. The multilingual system of our nation is the problem, the major challenge. Let me refer us to some other countries, advanced countries. In Germany, they use their language, the German language. In Netherlands, they use the Dutch. The Spaniards use the Spanish language to teach. So there are several other nations that use their.
But these are languages on their own.
Yes.
We don't have a language called Nigerian.
That exactly is, I felt, where the problem lies. I did say that to replicate the project of Professor Fafunwa in other climes in the country would have been where the problem is setting. That if at the end of the day we start to do this thing, which one would not be the nationally adopted language of all these things? If we use Yoruba in Southwest, we use Efik in the South, and we use Hausa in the North, or Tifi, or whichever. So which one are we likely to adopt as a national one? Because when we go to that length, textbooks must be written in such a language. Instructional or teaching materials must also be designed using that adopted language. So the multiplicity in terms of our ethnic groups, in terms of languages or mother tongue, I see it as a big challenge.
I'll come to what you people are doing as a body, as an association, as to this. But before that, let me give you a probable scenario. Chienye is Igbo. She's married to an Igbo living in Abeokuta, Yoruba land. Expectedly, the family will speak Igbo. So Chienye's son is in school here. At home, he speaks Igbo. What will happen to such a child?
Yes.
Who is in a Yoruba school and wants to study science?
Let me also make reference back to the national policy on education that I just referred to a couple of minutes back. It also anticipated such scenarios, and that is why the professor, there is a rider there that in monolingual communities, that is the only place where you can use mother tongue as the medium of instruction, even at that level of our system of education, which is primaries 1 to 3. So if you have found yourself in a community that is not monolingual, then the policy is telling you that you cannot adopt mother tongue as the medium of instruction. So that's exactly where we need to see that and look at critically if we must work towards seeing that we go back to use a language that we feel that it's more receptive, so to say, to our students, so that there can be better improvement in terms of their learning outcomes.
Okay, how many of these qualified teachers do we have, when we know that how many of our teachers can even speak fluently in their mother tongues? How many of these qualified teachers do we have to be able to handle this?
Yes, if today Nigeria as a country,
because we're looking at beginning to train teachers all over again in their mother tongues, and that will take a lot of while.
Yes, if today Nigeria as a country decides to follow this path of changing the old paradigm, it also will make it as a matter of expediency on the government to make sure that we make it a long-term thing. It's not something that we start today and we expect that we start to see the results. Because the first set of students that are going to go through such thing will also become the teachers in the future. So for those that are already in the old system, they have to exit with the old system. That is the best way to go about it. We cannot start this thing today and expect that, oh, everywhere we must adopt it. No, it won't work like that.
Well, I don't know if you have also looked at this. Education or learning is not just for your personal consumption or build up. It's part of the thing why you want to be educated. It's also for you to be able to associate and then learn from other people. If I have been taught mathematics or any science subject in my mother tongue Yoruba now, and I find myself in Hausa land or a Fulani land or a Birom land, what will happen to me? How will I work as a teacher there? How will I even work as a science professional there?
That's a beautiful one. Let me also tell you that as teachers, as part of our training, we must also undergo what we call psychosocial adjustment. So if I'm a Yoruba trained in Yoruba land and I found myself in another community, I should be able to adjust. It's like, take for instance, a Nigerian that left the shores of this country and traveled to Ukraine or to China. You are going to go through some language education. You go to language.
Yeah, as a teacher, you also know that there are some people who may never be fully integrated into that society. We still have Yorubas in Kano that I know after 40 years have not been fully been able to integrate because of this language problem.
Yes, for a trained teacher should not have such a problem because of the fact that you are expected to understand the basic tenets and principles of psychosocial adjustment. Because as teacher, you cannot be placed permanently on a job or in a particular school or location. You can be moved anytime. So wherever you find yourself, you should be able to be innovative. You should be creative and resourceful.
Okay.
And these are parts of the
that takes me to the National Science Teachers Association. You are the chairman. This is expected to be a group of professionals or special people because of your training. And people like me will expect that you are a think tank for education policy and implementation. You talk during your speech about textbooks and other modern needed to grow these things. Have you sat down to look at this, even apart from the fact that government is introducing this kind of policy as a think tank? What exactly? Because people have said that has always been part of the problems why our education has been said to be retrogressing.
The association has done wonderfully well. I'm proud to beat my chest to say that Science Teacher Association of Nigeria, we have contributed immensely to extending frontier of knowledge in this country.
Do you have textbooks
we have also
by
promoted scholarship.
Nigerians?
Yes. Yeah, we have the association assembles team of specialists in different subject areas to come up with titles, and those titles are named stand publications. Though in the past we have used reputable publishing houses like that you can name in Nigeria. But as of today, Stan has come up with his own publishing house.
So do you have books published? Science books published in local language.
Not in local languages, because we
have literature published in Yoruba language. We have history books published about science, which is a problematic cause.
No science has been published to the best of my knowledge now, because I've said it that there is no document supporting that science can be taught using local languages.
Oh, so your own stand view as a professional, as a science teacher, that that cannot be done
until there is a policy entrenched.
who will entrench a policy? What will be the content of that policy?
I expect that such a move comes from the Federal Ministry of
What
Education.
will be? So that's why I asked
In
that
conjunction.
when you, even as of today, are you being carried along as a group of think tanks to help in this? Because it's not just about formulating those policies, the implementation will come to you.
Yes.
So why are you not involved?
Let me say this. As a state chairman of Science Teacher Association of Nigeria, I'm a member of the Governing Council of STAN in the country. And I've not been privy to discussing such thing at that level of the Governing Council of STAN, where they have brought the idea that, oh, this is the idea the federal government is mooting, and they have asked for our input in that respect. I never can tell. Maybe
again, that's my question. You are waiting for government to come to you for a policy that will be implemented by you that will have direct effect on what you do. Why do you have to wait for government to come to you? If you are seeing yourself as a think tank for this implementation, why don't you go to government and present position papers?
Yeah, like I said, until there's a communication, we may not be able to take up any agency of the government, Ministry of Parastatal, that, oh, this is what is on ground, until there's a communication before we can take any decisive action.
So conclusively, from your part, this is something that may not fly.
No, we are seeing it as a project that is still in pipeline. Let me put it that it's still in pipeline.
Okay, if it's a project that is still in pipeline, Nigerians should move away from fire brigade approach. It's already in the pipeline. You know what will come out of it. Everyone should be prepared for it. Okay, aside from that, what is the main aim of this policy? What do we hope to achieve from this policy if it's implemented?
Yeah, the ultimate goal or aim is to improve learning outcome on the part of the learners. If sciences have given us a lower percentage in terms of passes, particularly external examinations, WAEC, NECO, then we are looking for different ways by which we can show up the level of performance.
And you think it's doing that in the mother language that will show up the scores or the high results in such languages?
Because I'm aware that there are also empirical facts to support this. That haven't used different people have worked at the PhD level, master's degree level. People have worked in this area, and they would have also abridged most of these reports to say that, oh, since we have found results here and there, then we can adopt it as
okay, Yoruba language, that is the official language, part of the languages in Nigeria, that is being taught in that language. What do you think? What is the results out there? Are they doing well?
Oh, I may not be able to say specifically because that's not my area. I'm not in Yoruba. I'm not in languages. I may not be able to, and I've not monitored performances there. My main task is to monitor area of sciences.
All right, yes, Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM this morning, looking at the attempt of the federal government. Well, they may mean well, trying to ensure that Nigerian students perform better in science subjects. It's an age-long thing, right from the 60s when I was in school. It's always been a problem. Many of us would say we run away from mathematics, and those who study what they call Fikemba. Physics, chemistry, biology, that you see them as people with an extraterrestrial brain, and then they begin to carry big books around and say, well, maybe for people in my group now, if I was in school now, teaching in either Yoruba or the Onanuga language, I would have been able to grasp it. That's what we are looking at this morning. This junction let allow you to be a part of it. Maybe you have a fresh idea, different thing to tell our guest this morning. He's a top teacher, professional science teacher, science education is portrayed, and he is today the chairman, National Association of Science Teachers, Ogun State, Mr. Peter Onanuga. We open the telephone lines. If you have questions, comments, issues to raise with Mr. Onanuga, you are permitted, provided you stay within the rules of the game.
0809-868-7344 or 0909-146-9670 are the studio lines to call. And for the short code dial 32120, first you type rock, you leave a space, type your message, include your name, and forward it to 32120. And also the Twitter handle at Rock City FM and the Facebook fan page Rock City 101.9 FM. Hello?
Good morning, my sister. Good morning, Dele, Ayodo.
Morning.
Yeah, my name is Onanuga. I'm calling from the People's Parliament in Jaguno. Good morning, our guest in the house.
Good morning, Honorable.
My own is not a question per se. My own is a kind of observation and advice. I read the sciences. I have a PhD in chemistry. Fundamentally, and if you want to the basis of sciences. Number one, you give them, let them develop that interest in that.
Honorable Daddy, a better part of your discussion is being chunked off by the network.
Okay, I'll need to call back.
Please do, please. All right.
Okay, thank you. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning, Dele.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chienye. Good morning, the guest in the house.
Good morning.
My name is Dr. Ogun.
Thank you.
I'm calling from Ashiro Estate. I have difficulties in understanding mother tongue. What do we really call this mother tongue? I am a Calabar man, married to a Yoruba woman. Which one is mother tongue to my son or my daughter? Is it ethnic language or Yoruba language? And when we talk of Yoruba language, we talk as if it is a monolith. You have Eba, you have Ijebu, you have Ekiti, and some of them, they don't match at all. If you don't know, you don't know. It's not as if you can project. So that is number one. Number two, that we must accept that this so-called language, Yoruba is not, I would not call it a language. Igbo is not a language. So incomplete are some of them that you have to put English inside it. Even the people in the villages have to put English inside it because it's not complete. When we talk of English, German, Iranian, or Russian, Chinese, those are complete languages. We don't have, and that is why we run into this problem that what happens here, what happened there. We don't have complete languages. If we do, and how old is a language anyway? Much barely up to maybe 200 years. Egyptian is not up to 300 years. But these are civilizations which have lasted for thousands of years. The Chinese language is so vast that you can use it to do anything. Why don't you just sit down, not to reinvent the wheel? Forget about it. For goodness sake, we can use it as a means of communication. But outside that, I think we are pushing to, because there are so many impediments which we have seen. And I don't think we will get anything by trying to spend so much time to overcome those impediments. We have already met it. You don't need to take time before you can go to the moon.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, let's pick the next one. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Good morning.
Mr. Dele and Auntie Chienye.
Good morning.
Our guest, good morning. My name is Emeka.
Thank you.
Good morning, our guest.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, please, I only want to understand. I want you to enlighten me. I'm in this audio, but I want to relocate to the northern side. And my son happens to be among the people that is still in school. In that change, how can he adopt to the subject over there? Remember that we did not have any one universal language. There is not in Togo, in Benin Republic. Can't he bring a tribalistic something? And a Yoruba woman happened to be an Ijebu, using his own language to speak, or yours is different from that. I don't know how is it going to be. So that is my question.
Okay.
All right, we'll still take more calls for our guest, Peter and Onanuga. We are looking at science as a medium of language, Nigerian language as a medium of teaching science subjects. Hello.
Hello.
Short code 32120. Morning.
My name is Claire Waters, and I'm calling from Ayodo.
Okay.
Oh,
Hello,
You
we
are
can hear
on.
you.
yeah, I mean, this policy that these people are proposing, to me, is a quagmire and is dead on arrival. Languages today in Nigeria are going into extinction. I'm from Edo. The part I came from in Edo is different from where my wife came from in Edo. Now, even in my house right now, I don't even speak language to my child because the mother's language is different from my language. I don't want to confuse the child. So I allow her to speak a universal language that could hit her to already where she goes to. So people like Dr. Hookup said, this policy is dead on arrival. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, let's start there. Calls, I guess, is taking note. Let's add more calls. Hello. Hello. 32120. You can also use that medium. That's the short code. Morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good
Yes,
morning.
sir.
Good morning. My name is Abdi Mother.
Okay.
The best thing that could happen to any nation is for the children to be taught in their own either mother tongue or first language. The experiment had succeeded in Ife. And this is where the national language policy comes in. The national language policy stipulates that besides your first language or your mother tongue, a child should be exposed to another language. The three major languages recognized, which are the core languages, Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. There are other languages across. Yoruba has central Yoruba, either you are from Oyo, from Ijebu, from Egba, there is central Yoruba. Even English as a language borrows from French, from Germany. The languages borrow from each other. But this idea of, I don't want to speak my language because it's my children will not understand. And Igbo boy living in Ogun State, born in Ogun State, his mother tongue is Igbo. But his first language is supposed to be Yoruba because he has contact with Yoruba as the first language. And he will understand the Yoruba language better than parents. So if you don't do it, you first think in your first language before you translate to English. It is natural. And that is why our country is going, our cultures are going to extinction because we don't want to deal with our language. The best thing that could happen to any child, and they will learn better and faster. All textbooks for those IFE experiments, all textbooks were produced in Yoruba, except English. Mathematics was produced in Yoruba, chemistry, biology produced in Yoruba, and they had the best result at WAEC. Today they have produced professors, medical doctors, and engineers through that program. But it will take a long time, and we have to be consistent with our policy.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
so much.
Can we check the messages there?
Well, let's pick this call and take the
Okay,
message.
yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Good morning.
Good morning, our guest.
Good morning, sir.
I greet you. Actually, when you started, I was there, but I'm proud from Abeokuta. But I came back to the program just now. But I will say this. Let me tell you, just like the last caller has just said, the best thing that could ever happen to any country at all is for the country, the leadership to be able to teach in the language which is the best for that particular student or children. And if I may take you back, anybody that wants to go to Germany now or any else or elsewhere, they must probably have been able to be taught or learn their language or go for exams in that particular areas what do you call it? Disposition. So what I'm saying is that if we have belief, any belief at all, you must back it probably with faith. And when you have faith, faith answers everything. In all that we have been doing before now, I think if we don't have faith or believe in English, it wouldn't have taken us so far. But if we go ahead and then begin to study in our own language now, it will take us to our El Dorado, and we can be able to achieve faster than now, than before. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I believe Kari wants to say anybody wants to go and study in Germany, not anybody going to Germany. Yes. All right.
Okay, for the messages here, I have this from Ifeoluwa. Well done, presenter. My own is that all the 3 languages that we have in Nigeria as a general language should be made compulsory as English and mathematics. Thanks. That's from Ifeoluwa. He's proposing that. Then we have this from Abiola. Those clamoring for this policy are anti-national unity. Their own children are studying overseas and speaking good grammar. Let them use their children for this experiment too. Okay, that was turned in by Abiola. Then for the tweets, we have this very first one from Ilesomi Noah. Failure of students in science subjects is not because of the English being used to teach them. It's because students are not ready to read. Then mother tongue language can't solve the problem. Even if we use the father tongue language, change their orientation, they must read. Then we have this from Oluwasegun Sam Alalade. We have languages. We have Yoruba language, which is complete and can also be spoken without mixing English. But languages are going into extinction. That's that for the messages and tweets for now. So you may react.
All right. Maybe I know you have a whole lot of them. We'll come back after the 10 o'clock, but let us see the ones you can pick before we take the break for the news.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you to our listeners and contributors from home. Some of these issues have also been addressed by Mr. Ademola, talking about the language policy, the Nigerian language policy. He had also shedded some light on some enlightenment that Mr. I think the Edo man was asking for.
Dr. Nkom?
No, the man
from Edo was asking for some enlightenment and all of that. This project should not be seen as dead on arrival. There's nothing bad in making some trials, except that if there are gray areas, let's address them. There's no language that can claim superiority over and above another language.
Are you sure? Practice?
No language can claim
superiority. No, without being sentimental.
can claim superiority over another language.
Okay, for the purpose of this discussion.
Language is language. So we should not see one language as being better than the other. For somebody to talk about Yoruba not being complete, I'm not a linguist or language person, expert or authority, so I may not be able to say that, but I know that there are different things. Talking about coming up with national language, how far have we also gone in terms of implementing this policy of if you are from Yoruba, you should go and learn one other language, either Igbo or Hausa?
All right, I'm sorry, Mr. Onanuga and Alistair, just stay tuned after the 10 o'clock news. Yes, we will be back. He's still here and he will give you the answers to those issues you have raised. Stay tuned. It's still Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM. For still being there, Rock City 101.9 FM in the city of Abeokuta. Yes, the Daybreak Show Citizen Forum this morning, looking at the use of our mother tongue to teach science subjects in both the basic and the secondary school. And we have with us a teacher, a science educationist. He is also the state chairman of the National Association of Science Teachers, Mr. Peter Onanuga. Well, before the news, there were questions asked and comments. So, Mr. Onanuga, let's start from your response to those issues raised by this first set of callers and messages.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Nkom raised the issue of mother tongue vis-a-vis dialects. Yes, these are existing situations, and there's nothing we can do about that. We cannot influence all of that. But the most important thing is that let's see how best we can pursue this project to give us the desired result. His presentation was scenario I can paint as dead on arrival. No, we should not see it that way. Like I said earlier, one or two other people have also established that whatever form of communication you want to do, you first internalize it in your mother tongue or first language, as some specialists will call it. So we just have to key into that. Yes, talking about relocation, somebody raised the issue of relocation, that my child is in Abeokuta, I want to relocate to the northern part. That if that child has been taught here using one form of a language, by the time he or she gets to the other side, what becomes of his or her fate? Yes, it's part of the logistics that we also need to look at when we are packaging this policy. That is noted, and I know that people that also mooted this idea, they must have also considered this to a very large extent. Then the Edo man said that we're in a quagmire. I wouldn't agree. Just like I said before the break, there could be gray areas. Let's see how best we can address those areas. And to also say this as a teacher, a trained teacher, I want to advise our parents that we should also teach our children our mother tongue. We should teach them our mother tongue. It facilitates, it helps a lot. It enhances their level of communication. Don't let us use English as the main focus of communication at home. It doesn't help these children, particularly in their formative stages. Yeah, Mr. Ademola talked largely on the national policy, language policy, and he made some clarifications. I guess he must be an expert or an authority in that area. The way he spoke, he's quite sure that he is very, very vast in that language policy, and he had made some few suggestions. Yes, Ifeoluwa, that the three languages should be made compulsory. If we go back to looking at the three languages being made compulsory, how many subjects are we going to make compulsory for our students in schools? That may be too cumbersome. But
I think what he's saying is what others have said before. If you are in Yoruba land, you have one other of these two other languages made compulsory. If you are in Igbo land, you have either Yoruba or Hausa made compulsory for you.
If that is a line of thought, I share with him completely, 100%. Then Mr. Abiola said those that are mooting this idea, they are working against national unity. I don't agree. Whatever anybody should be doing at this level should be about in pursuit and in concert with the unity of this country, not to talk about the visibility. Mr. Noah, in his tweet, he said poor performance is not as a result of the use of English, or not because they are using they are lazy. Yeah, that's another topical issue for some other day. Yeah, most of our students, particularly this generation of students we have, they are so lazy. He has captured it very well. They are lazy, they don't want to read. And
okay,
that should be
let's return to the
discussion.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like I was saying, it's a very good idea. It could be well, practicalized, and at the same time well experimented. You have to do some experiment before you can really get it right. Because I don't know how we're going to say àti átọ́ọ̀mù chlorine àti átọ́ọ̀mù hydrogen tó bá papọ̀ mọ́ra wọn á fún wa ní molecule hydrogen chloride. It's something that's going to be very interesting. Like somebody said, the teacher needs to be more, patient with the student. It needs to be more entertaining, more explicit, so that it will go down into the medulla oblongata of all the things. It's very, very, very important. And it's something that is very, very achievable. And I'm telling you, most of the gray areas will be well addressed, and those children are going to really want to enjoy that. They can want to move to more science where we can develop this country, technologically, and all these on skills, whatever things could be done, and people are going to have a very good opportunity to get employed themselves for white collar job as it is now in Nigeria. Good morning, have a pleasant day. Bless you people there.
All right,
God bless you
thank
too.
you. What an interesting time. Mr. Onanuga, I'm sure is ready for atom chlorine that here.
This one idea is nonsense. Okay, the man in the studio indirectly agreed it can't work. His response on which language out of Nigerian language is adopted, he said that's the problem. So why the policy then? If it's taught in one mother tongue, they won't guarantee doing well. Many got F9 in Yoruba as a subject, and also teaching in local language makes it irrelevant in other parts of the world. And how many teachers outside those who studied Yoruba can speak it fluently to teach?
Chienye, can just hold on there, Mr. Onanuga. Maybe she will continue for that, but let's start from this last one. Why do we have Yorubas failing Yoruba students? Because I know
That was the same question I threw at him.
Because I know they were taught in Yoruba.
Yes. There could be so many reasons that one will adduce for failure in a particular subject. That a student offered a Yoruba as a subject and failed may not be attributable to the mode of instruction. There are several things that can cause failure. So if we bring them together, we are just addressing one now out of the many, which is the medium of instruction.
Okay.
That's what we are addressing now. But there are several other factors.
Okay.
Numerous factors that can contribute. Attitude of the student can contribute. So many other things can contribute. Availability of resources in school and all of that. So one may not pin it down specifically to that area. Yes, so this issue of fluency, how many teachers are fluent in their language? I'd also said this at the beginning of this discourse, that we're not going to rush through this project. If we start now, those that are into it will have to take up the responsibility at a future date, which means that the system must be well grounded now. We'll have to go back and address a lot of things, because we know that languages are phasing out of our curriculum.
Particularly Nigerian languages.
Languages, they are phasing out. So that is where we also need to go back and address very importantly. Somebody raised the issue that I agree that the project is dead or not. But no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That was a misconception. I'm even supporting the idea of, I've said it, that if we had something we've used for a long time and it has not worked, why would we not, or why should we be afraid of trying to do a shift in the direction of what we are talking about? Yeah, okay. Mr. Taiwo Tolulope, that it's unfortunate that teachers are not involved. Yeah, many teachers have not been involved, are great, but I think as teachers too, we should also come up to let people know, let's speak in one voice to say that if we should be part of a process, a policy making as end users, we should be invited. I agree totally with that. Then talking about African science, African or West African science, Western science. That's quite interesting. Yeah, African science. Yeah, there is African science. If we go into history of science itself, you discover that science started as a crude thing before bloating out to the level we are in today. So there is no even a community, how small or settlement it is, that will not have its own history in terms of science. So if you go into history of science itself, we find that it's very interesting. And history will also tell us to give us the opportunity to see where we are some years in the past, where we are presently, so that we can also project into the future.
Where we want to be.
So there's African science, quite agreed. And let me also say that people have been talking about the Yoruba. Let me use Yoruba now as a typical example here. That in mathematics, there is numerous system. Decimal, tens, and tens, and all of that.
Take us through it.
Yeah. Ditto in Yoruba, there's what's called vigesimal.
That's what I want in Yoruba now.
Vigesimal. Onka. Mewa. In English, they call it vigesimal. For people that are in that area, people in language can explain better. vigesima.
That's the problem. Now you are not in language. You are a science teacher.
Just like we have decimal, there is vigesima. And that vigesima, it has to do with Yoruba numbering system.
Okay, that's good. Let that one take us to Larry Jaji's question. Now, let's have the practical teaching now.
So that's exactly where I'm heading to. That the languages, you discover that they are so rich that they will come up with these concepts.
Mr. Onanuga, we want to mix. We are in the laboratory lab now,
Yes.
the chemistry lab now,
Yeah.
and we want to mix some of it. Okay, let me take you to your. Just give us a 2 minutes topic discussion in the Yoruba science now. This is the classroom.
Okay, depending on the science we are looking at.
Okay, for the purpose, which one is comfortable for you? So take us through.
Let me go into a biology class.
Yes.
The human part.
Mm-hmm.
So for every part of human being, ó ní orúkọ tí à ń pe ẹ̀yà ara kọ̀ọ̀kan ní èdè Yorùbá. Ojú, etí, eyín, ahọ́n, irun, bó ṣe lọ lóríṣiríṣi nìyẹn. So if we go back, you're just
picking the easiest way out. No,
because
let's look at. I know, because I know in biology. Okay, they also teach us. I know they teach us the femur, the lumbar. Okay, let's have you teach that.
That's what I'm saying. But for me to be able to teach it, then it means that I must also have gone through a language class in that.
So apparently, so teachers who
that's why I said, that's why I said it's not going to be a thing that will kick off and we go along with it. So people that are going to start that project now will also go through language with it. And perhaps this is what those initiatives are also looking at.
Okay, what will be these three bones in Yoruba? The scapula, the lumbar, the femur. What will it be in Yoruba?
In Yoruba we surely have. For people that are specialists in Yoruba language, if we consult them, they will tell us. They will surely tell us.
Okay.
Just like let me also draw your attention to this. Different names in botany. There are names for all these leaves. Fruits, there are local names. So there are local names for most of these concepts that we think they are not there.
Okay, I think it's because we have not explored it.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Okay, can we go back to messages? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, then they concluded by saying the policy is nonsense. Okay, we move to the next one. IK from E4. What are we talking about? Who is going to teach? Who must the teachers? Okay, most of the teachers don't even know how to speak their local language correctly. So let them find another solution and stop playing games. That is not the change we expected from them. Well, what are we talking about? Who is going to teach? Who most of the teachers don't know how to speak the local language. Okay, IK sent in that message again. Then we have this from Mr. Keshinro from Rounder. Okay, we didn't hear him clearly earlier. The use of the mother tongue to teach science is a laudable idea. Apart from enhancing teaching and learning process, it is a tool to national and technological development. Look at China, for example, thriving technologically because of the use of their local languages. That's from Mr. Keshiro. Then we have this from Dele from Abeokuta. Good morning, Rock City. Good morning to you too. My question for the guest is, will Nigerian students start writing WAEC Fee Kembayo exams in Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa? That's a question from Ayodele. Okay, then.
You can take that again so that you can.
I can note that.
Okay, he got it.
Okay, can the students, Nigerian students, start writing WAEC, that's Fee Kembayo, exams in Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa? Okay, quickly, we have a couple of tweets here. We have this from Yemi Da Vinci. Okay, let me start from this very one. Shegun Babalola, if it's properly implemented, it will be an advantage for the students. Then Adeneko Oluwaseun, I don't disagree with teaching in local language, but why? My question is, how can it be competitive in the international world and also improve our education system? Then Comrade Mojid. I remember Pa Ayodo used Yoruba language to teach physics at Abelgrams in those days, and it was so informative. We can do it. It might take a while, but it is doable. I remember him calling methyl orange Olomioso then. Then we have Durojaye Abdulaziz. Using the mother tongue to teach science and others will be a good thing, as it will make students comprehend the subject more. But it's a pity we have enslaved our mother tongue to the English language, and that's why you see a Yoruba child who can speak Yoruba, then free. Can we speak English perfectly? Can they speak English perfectly? I have a lot of them as friends. Yemi Da Vinci, I am in total support of the teaching of sciences in local languages. That is what we need for technical revolution in Nigeria. Then Dosumu Tajudin, using our mother tongue to teach students in our school is a welcome development because Professor Babatunde Fafunwa has examined it before. Then Yemi Da Vinci again, if Chairman Mao had done his cultural revolution in China in English language, it would have been dead on arrival. Teaching in mother tongues will actually engender more unity. Igbo children living in Abeokuta will be taught in Yoruba and vice versa. Then when a Nigerian child is relocating to France, won't he or she learn French? Yoruba children going to Kano should learn Hausa, Shikena. Then all languages, especially English, borrowed from other languages. So most science terms are not even of the English origin. Then children have incredible abilities to pick up new languages. So children moving from one region to another can take short conversion courses. Okay, that's still from Yemi Da Vinci. That algebra is actually an Arabic word, as are many science terms. We will derive new words from the originals, like English did. That's still from Yemi Da Vinci. Then we have this one from Akurede Camille. I welcome this policy. I don't know why people don't see it as a way forward. Most of our students lack good communication skills. Then Yemi Da Vinci, what we need science teachers to do now is to start sitting down and getting new local names for science concepts and ideas. Akurede Camille, most of the questions they know, but because of English language, then they don't get to understand them, which later cause failure. I support this policy, and it will work if it's properly implemented.
All right, Mr. Onanuga.
Yes,
So you want to pass some comments on the issue?
yes. Let me start with the question of Mr. Ayodele. Will Nigerian students write WAEC in
Igbo, Yoruba, and
the
Hausa.
physics, chemistry, biology in Yoruba? Hausa? Yes, they will. They will. We should also understand that WAEC is not indigenous even to Nigeria. So we chose to belong to WAEC. We can also choose to pull out of WAEC. Good enough, we also have a NECO, a national body, examination body that is called NECO. So if WAEC will not key into that, and I'm sure WAEC will equally key in. It's just a matter of understanding, and I employ people that also understand those languages to catch the questions. Yeah, to catch the questions in those languages. So WAEC sees Nigeria as a good market base that they cannot afford to lose. They cannot afford to lose. So they will surely do. I'm very optimistic. Mr. Adenekon talked about how can it be competitive. If Chinese language is competitive, German language is competitive, it depends on the way we also handle our own languages. They can equally be competitive. So there's no big hassles about that. Yeah, Mr. Moji talked about one old man teaching them physics in Yoruba. Yeah, while he was in Abeokuta Grammar School. That's what we're saying. Let me also use this medium to say that even there, science. When we started to learn about science, they were defining science. They said science was even two Greek words from Sierra and so joined together to give science. So science itself did not even take root from English. So it took its root from Greek and Latin. So we start to also come up to invent new words that will suit the purpose of this curriculum that we are talking about. We'll start to invent, if it gets to that level, we invent words, we invent concepts such that they will key into what we desire and will have a better result. So these are issues that I think, and from the look of things, a lot of people are supporting the idea of starting this national project, and it's something that every hand must be on deck to pursue vigorously.
All right, let's see calls. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good
Yes,
morning.
sir.
Good morning, Mr. Dele. Good morning, and
Good morning.
Jeff India.
Good
I
morning,
think
sir.
I support you saying so too. I want to say all those anticipated problems are just fixing problems, which one should always expect in any laudable endeavor. But at least let us turn northward. We have compared this mountain long enough. When you go to our higher institutions, or let me see, when you go to higher institutions, in this when you go to sciences, there is a level you reach that you appreciate some areas as abstract. The lecturer will not hide to tell you this if there is no physical reality in that area of study. You just memorize and pour it out again in examination. If this is taught in local language, the outside side would have been better stopped, and apprehension of physical reality would have come in. There are lots of advantages to the use of mother tongue. No matter the weight of the teaching problem, there are lots of acculturation and interpretation of our culture. And this is further underdeveloping our country. To develop our technology, we need to quickly begin with this experiment. And if you want to know how it will work, a visit to our artisans will suffice. And not our graduates, engineer graduates, are not they going to them for further grounding. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, 09091469670. Hello. You can also use 080986873444. Morning.
Good morning, Chienye. Good morning, I get in the house.
Good morning.
Good morning,
My name
sir.
is Jafar Olusegun. Good morning.
Thank you.
It's a very good project, but it's quite a pity that we are not thinking in such a direction as an African, because we felt that all other languages are not. First, we have to have a thinking ideology of supremacy of our own indigenous languages over imported ones like English and co. An average Frenchman, an average German, an average Netherlands, Dutchman will not speak English. So there was, but rather they would speak their local languages. We've seen a lot of students going to other advanced countries like that, like in Germany, like in France and Netherlands, and then they have to first, even Russia, you have to first learn their language before you start the main course. 1 year for the language speaking before the main course. If not, now that we are having a globalization of English speaking universities. But having said this, it's a very good project in which I will be in support of, but we have to take note of this. Number one, pessimism should be out of it. And this project might not start from this generation, because majority of the so-called parents now find it even very hard to even speak their mother tongue. I will not start this use their course. But if you want to achieve this, you have to target the younger generations, maybe 2 or 3, and project into the future by 15 years time, whereby these students in these 2 years will have been able to at least achieve this goal. It's achievable, because for any technological innovations, to any language medium of communication, you have to first internalize.
Thank
So
you.
that if you are being taught in Hausa or Yoruba, you assimilate more than being taught in English.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's pick this call and we allow our guest to respond. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I think everybody has spoken very well.
Your name, sir?
My name is Egwuonwu from Pajola.
All right.
It's very important that in our school curricula, we have to make it very compulsory that the Yoruba man must be able to speak Hausa. An Hausa man must be able to speak Yoruba, and an Igbo man must be able to speak Yoruba, and vice versa. So the only way the three these national languages that we have be able to blend into our educational system is one. If we are able to go this way, we will be able to achieve a lot within a very short time. Without which, of course, if an Hausa man is able to speak Yoruba friendly and able to understand the nitty-gritty of these languages, and the same thing applicable to Igbo and Hausa and Yoruba. In fact, if you look at Lagos State today, they have adopted Yoruba as because major national issues, and that alone is going a long way to settle some of the costs that we have in the House of Assembly. So I think it's very important to enhance our educational performances in schools.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Onanuga.
Yeah, yes, sir. Let me quickly respond to these the last two contributors. Mr. Gafar Olusegun raised the issue of pessimism. Yeah, in fact, from the discourse that we've had so far, we have seen people displaying high level of pessimism in terms of adopting this policy. But be that as it may, it should not deter us from doing a headlong scenario to make sure that we get it behind us once and for all. He further went to look at the problem vis-a-vis this generation, that this generation will not want to start it, that we should procrastinate. I totally disagree. The project should start now. If the people we are looking at, this generation that are not interested in promoting our local languages, should face out, then it means that project is also gone with them. So the more reason that the time is now, it's more apt now than later. So we should start the project right now. But like I said, we'll make it a long-term thing, just like you also projected, say, maybe in the next 15 years. And that is the best way to make sure that we also have enough personnel that can discharge this policy at the end of the day. Yeah, Mr. Kajola also raised issues. He supported the idea, but he's also looking at the other side that some people have raised. There's no other time to go into this project than now. So I thank them for making their various contributions. So let's see how best we can address areas of challenges, and then see how we can meet. Even where we diverge, we must still convert somewhere.
So you feel it's an effort worth trying?
Worth trying.
Okay.
The destination is the same. We're only taking different routes to get there.
Actually, that would be interesting, really. If I want to go into the car and you see, like you just said, physics, chemistry, biology, and other science subjects being taught in the modern language. Okay, let's end this with the messages and the tweets.
Education policy and proper implementation, so that Nigerians would not lose again in policy and implementation. Secondly, to bail you out on why Yoruba fail Yoruba. Due to the colonial mentality we adopted, many Yoruba parents have trained their children not to speak Yoruba in the house. Ayodo from Ward 4, Abeokuta North, sent in that one. I think the problem of who to teach should not be a problem. Specialists in Yoruba language will do the translation when consulted. There is what is called a meta language textbook, where all words and sciences are being translated by experts. We have professors in Yoruba who will do this. Mr. Keshiro is also suggesting that. Then textbooks in sciences, mathematics, and all other subjects except English were produced for eyes and a burden of experiments. The students excelled in English at WAEC, and so they'll write WAEC in English or Ladosu, sent in that one. The idea is obsolete. Can't they do us? It can't do us any good, meaning teachers trained in Yoruba in the West can't practice in other regions as a Nigerian. So also those trained in the Northeast can't work in other areas in the country, let alone outside the country. Do we have to cage ourselves to local languages and be irrelevant internationally? It's not a good policy. It should be dropped. How many teachers can speak their local languages very well? That's coming from Ade. Then to this very one, Tony from Abeokuta. I commend the guest in the house. The idea is a welcome one. I remember WHO program called Endline Baseline Survey, and the materials used in conducting the survey were written in Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, and it made a success. So if Western states use our mother languages in conducting research, then what stops us from doing that? Let's be real. Ayodo from Bodiolide, I agree to the use of local languages. Formulation of scientific terms will be universal to all tribes and further unite us. Then as of today, Yoruba is being taught in China in university level by the Chinese who were trained here in Nigeria. And so that should tell us something. That's also from Oladusu. Then Yomi from Iwekuru, that's where you ended the message. Then we have this on the tweet from Akorede Camille. Communication is the first thing you look forward to be embedded in students. If they understand what you are saying, then the lesson will be effective.
Honestly, it's been another interesting, educative one. Unfortunately, there is no way we will be able to accommodate everything, but keep the debate going on. Of course, Friday we can't continue with it on the open day. I appreciate everybody who's been a part of it. Mr. Peter Onanuga is the Ogun State Chairman of the Science Teachers Association of Nigeria, a trained science teacher. Of course, from his delivery, you know that this is a complete teacher. I will say thank you, and to every other person that accompanied you here.
It's my great pleasure to be here.
All right. Dele Ayodo is my name. I say God bless you all. God bless Nigeria. God bless Rock City.